People like you who are standing up about this are getting an awful lot of persecution. I think you're very brave. What gives you the courage?
I really felt something very bad was happening. And, all the people who think that something very bad is happening, they'll pick a different bit of it. They'll say it's about free speech, or it's about women's rights, or it's about children's health, or it's about just, basic reality or sanity. And it was all of those things for me. But then I went to an event at which some detransitioners were speaking. And this would have been, I think, late 2019. And I found it a profoundly upsetting event. So at this one in particular, there were 6 young women. Of course, there are boys who transition and detransition too, but this was 6 young women, all of whom had thought they were boys. And they were all of them lesbians who had been misled by their early gender nonconformity into thinking they must be boys. And they had gone various stages down the medical pathway. And one of them, who was 23, was this very articulate young woman who had suffered from anorexia in her teens, and at 18 had stumbled upon the idea that she was trying to starve away her curves because she was meant to be a boy. And by 21, she had all her sex organs removed and was on testosterone. She had no breasts, no uterus, no ovaries. She had a beard, her hair was receding. And by 23, when she still wasn't feeling any better, and she still had an eating disorder, she one day had the thought, how can an operation, namely a hysterectomy, that only a woman can have, turn me into a man? And that bounced her all the way back to, I am a woman, that is just a fact about me. And so I sat there and I listened to these young women. And, I have a very soft spot for gay kids. I have a gay son myself. He's never had gender dysphoria. It's important to say that. He's never had any theory that he's a girl or anything like that. But I have a soft spot for these kids because they're quite non-conforming. And, finding your way as a teenager is difficult anyway. But for these kids, it's a little bit more difficult. Because as they're growing up, they're also realising they're different.
I mean, how many of these children do you think are just simply gay anyway?
Well, according to the Tavistock Clinic, which is the UK's main gender identity clinic for children, the great majority of the children they see are same-sex attracted. There's a strong statistical
link. So they could have been
link.
perfectly happy growing up as...
Yes, so we are turning potentially healthy gay adults into sterile, straight simulacra of the opposite sex.